Hey everyone, this is your pre-recorded video for the week of, I'm actually doing a double week, August 12th through 25th, 2024. I am presently away and just sort of like, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to record a second video. So I'm going to try to smoosh in 2 weeks, and I wanted to talk about these 2 weeks because we do have a lot going on in these 2 weeks in August, namely some big movements of Mars and Jupiter and Saturn. And these are planets, although Mars is what's called a personal planet, it's our drive, our action, our motivation. But Mars also really talks about the physicality of our life, and it's meeting up with Saturn and Jupiter. So there's stuff that's in the mix this week. I'll talk about it. We also have an Aquarius full moon on August 19th at 27 degrees. This is the complement to the Leo new moon of August 4th. This one's a little bit spicy, I have to admit. It's meeting up, making a square with Uranus. There's a Sun square Uranus that day. There's Venus opposite Saturn. I know this is like, whoa, what does all that mean? But don't worry, I'll get into it. And for those that don't know who I am, my name is Katie Sweetman, and I'm an astrologer and a psychic medium, presently located in the rolling hills of central Maryland. Normally, I'm in the New York City area, and I would say every week we gather live to talk about the astrology, but in this case, because it's August and vacation, holiday, travel, we're doing this pre-recorded. But does mean that you can't say hello and tell me where you are watching from or where you're listening from, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or Spotify. I think those are all my bases. So let's jump into the astrology of the weeks, plural, of August 12th through all the way to the 25th, Sunday the 25th of August. So our main headliners for this time, you may remember that back on, I think it was July 20th, Mars went into Gemini. And Mars, every 2 years, it will go into the same sign, so it has a 2-year cycle. But what's interesting is that Mars is now in the same sign as Jupiter, because Jupiter went into Gemini back in the end of May. I think it was the 25th of May of this year, 2024. So Jupiter, the last time Jupiter was in Gemini, was 11 years ago, so that's a bit of a different cycle. But let's sort of unpack it. What's Gemini? And you're thinking, but I'm not a Gemini. How is this relevant to me? But here's the thing. You are a sun sign, but you have all the signs that are around you, all 11 other signs that stand in for different facets of life. They are also the archetypes of life. Gemini is voice, communication, how we think and listen and learn. And it's how we perceive our reality, especially picking up on the energies of Mercury, and Mercury as the co-ruler of both Gemini and Virgo. Without Gemini, we wouldn't have the curiosity of life. We wouldn't have movement. So Jupiter in Gemini, what's Jupiter? Jupiter is a planet by its nature that wants us to make our world bigger. How do we make our world bigger? Well, for some people, making our world bigger is to actually get on a plane and to see the world, or it is to expand your world in terms of worldliness, your education, it's higher education. Sometimes expanding your world has a spiritual or even a religious overtone. I want to understand the world that I'm in. And so without Jupiter, we would stay very small. Our world would be very small. In Gemini, Jupiter is now inspiring us to learn, to get curious, sometimes a little bit too curious. It's to really have some movement, and maybe we do feel this restless need to travel or to know more or even to say more. Jupiter will spend a year, and this is typical in Gemini. So in May of 2025, it will go into Cancer. It's another conversation for another time. So here comes Mars, and Mars can be provocative, it can instigate, it can also motivate, and certainly provoke and motivate and instigate that Jupiter. So our August, on some level, mind you, it is predominantly the season of Leo. We had the Leo new moon. So there's a lot of themes around identity. I'll give you an example. I was actually watching something on Netflix. I like to watch documentaries, especially documentaries about people, because then I get to be an astrologer and try to look at patterns in their life, marriages, achievements, etc. Anyway, they were talking about this one person in this documentary, how his work became his identity. And it was not necessarily a good thing because it trapped him into something that he wasn't really. And that's an example of identity and how Leo season, even though we think that Leo can be large and on the stage, but really Leo is the sign of the sun. And we all have a sun in our astrology, S-U-N, and we all are here to really discover, to shine, and to radiate who we truly are, because there is only one you in all of the universe. So sometimes identity is we think we are our work. We think we are our public profile. We think we are whatever sort of mask we put on social media, for example. And so Leo can get to themes about that. Or maybe Leo season for you is really getting back to the spark of life. This is the thing about a zodiac sign. It has all these different layers and permutations. So that's the umbrella. And so then how does Gemini play into it? Well, Gemini and Leo kind of get together like a house on fire, as the saying goes. And it says, let's take all this creative Leo energy and put it into our voice. How do we speak? How do we listen? How do we learn? How do we express ourselves? Do people hear us? Do people not hear us? Gemini is Leo's 11th sign. You're like, what? If I start at Leo and I count out throughout the zodiac signs, I get 11 signs before I reach Gemini. So a lot of the movements of this week with Mars and Jupiter and Gemini highlight the 11th. This is a collective time, a collective experience, a collective hour. And the 11th is community, society, humanity, social issues, and social causes. Through the energies of the 11th, whether it is a collective experience, whether it's the sun in Aquarius, because Aquarius is the 11th sign, hopefully this makes sense, or your own personal astrology based on your date of birth, your sun sign. Where is your 11th sign, for example? The 11th sign makes us aware of the world in a way that's a little bit different than Jupiter. Becoming aware of the world is understanding that everything runs on systems. Whether you put a physical piece of mail in the mailbox and you expect it to get to a certain place, I realize there's a physicality of that, but it's also the systems and networks that have been created for us so that our lives may run. Whether these are the physical systems, the social systems, systems of your community, the systems of your nation, the systems of the world. I realize this is a very vast topic, but we're in a space that by its nature is vast. It's science, technology, but on a little bit more of a day-to-day level, where do you belong? If Leo season is about identity and self, then where does that identity and self belong? Who are your people? Who are your allies? Who are your tribe? So how do you become more connected, or how do you nourish that sense of community and connection? Because we're human beings. Human beings need community and connection. So there's a lot of movement in a part of the sky in relation to Leo that speaks about community and connection. So this is a week and even into the second week of, or rather the third week of August, where we're really thinking about who our friends are. I'm not saying that ominously, but it's a time to really take that Leo energy and to share it. Share yourself with your community, with your social circle. Dare to be yourself. I don't mean this in a sort of aggressive way, but to have the confidence and the security to express who you are. Maybe you are making plans with friends. Maybe you are getting involved in group activities. Maybe you are becoming more involved in helping your community, volunteering, or like I said, social issues, social causes, humanitarian issues. So that's one of the ways in which our world is getting bigger and August. So that's going to be activated, but it's a kind of a busy week because we have the Mars-Jupiter conjunction on August 14th. This will be at 16 degrees of Gemini. So by the way, if you have a lot of stuff in the middle of the mutable degrees, the mutable signs are Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius. Maybe August is a lot of things going on. And one of the things that I said about the mutable signs that even earlier this year, if you are a Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, or Sagittarius, is that the second half of 2024 was going to be very different than the first half of 2024. I don't know. How is that statement holding up for you? Like, Katie, no, that's not the case. Or, maybe it is. Yeah, Katie, like the second half of the year seems very different. And maybe your mutable rising, you've got Gemini, Sag, Pisces, or Virgo rising. Actually, just statistically speaking, a lot of people have Virgo rising in the Northern Hemisphere. But anyway, so the Mars and Jupiter conjunction happens 2 days before the Mars squares Saturn, and that will be at 17 degrees of Gemini and Pisces. So that middle of August, the week of the 12th to the 18th, there's something not just about community and society and social issues, everything that I just said a few moments ago. There's also something about commitment, building, responsibility, taking things seriously. Mars and Saturn, a square. These are the energies of the builder. It can build things, but certainly it can really feel like the push against us to get our act together and really stand in something and make it happen. Where is Saturn in relationship to Leo season? Well, Saturn's in Leo's 8th. So the second or third week of August, the 12th to the 18th, and even into the 19th and 25th, might be bringing up deep emotions because Saturn is in a space in relationship to the Leo sun that touches on the psyche, having to face oneself, perhaps even having to face one's fears or emotional discomforts. It gets into trust, security, trust, I already said that word, emotional vulnerability, for example. If we go back to Mars and Jupiter and Gemini, then do I trust my community? Do I feel like I belong? Are there deeper emotions that are coming up? How do I build community and connection with people that are 100% with me? How do I make a deeper commitment to my friends, to my community, or even to the world at large? So it'll be very interesting to see how this energy plays out. More signs will feel this than others, especially if you are Pisces, Sagittarius, or even Scorpio and Aries, which I will get to when we go through each of the 12 zodiac signs. All of that leads us up to, well, I will say before I forget, Mercury will return to Leo. And this will be on the 14th of August as well. If you remember, I talked about this in my update for August 5th through 11th. Mercury is now retrograde. Mercury started its retrograde in Virgo, but it goes back into Leo on the 14th. What's interesting is that with Mercury back into Leo, it starts to get into the rodeo with the Sun square Uranus, the Aquarius full moon, and maybe that's a good segue to talk about this Aquarius full moon. So if Leo is the self, the individual, the spark that makes you, meaning there's only one you in all the universe, then Aquarius is the group. It is the community. It is the individuals that make a larger population. So we have this push and pull between the signs, but they support each other. They really get into themes around identity and connection, and really feeling like you can share who you are with the world. Aquarius is a sign, social issues, social causes, politics, humanity, ideology, science, technology. It is a big picture sign because it is one of the last signs of the zodiac, because the further you go along in the zodiac towards the end, you get into the bigger strokes of life. Aries, I, individual, first sign. Pisces, all of creation. I know that's a big leap. But anyway, so this Aquarius full moon is going to be at 27 degrees. It'll be on August 19th. 27 degrees is smack dab in a square to Uranus. This is why I said it's a spicy full moon. What's Uranus? Uranus is one of the 3 evolutionary planets. These are, air quotes, modern planets that were discovered in modern times. I say modern in air quotes because Uranus was discovered in 1781. These are not planets that were known to the ancients, so they function differently. They talk about the growth and evolution on both a personal level and a collective level, an energy that on a collective level the ancients didn't have access to. Uranus is awakenings, it's breakthroughs, sometimes it's breakdowns, sometimes things shake up, we get the energy of the unexpected. So we have an Aquarius full moon with the square to Taurus, Uranus and Taurus is Leo's 10th. So there is some big potential shakeups as we go into the 19th of August, and one that might shake up how we see friends, community, how we see the world, how we see our direction, how we see the responsibilities and duties that are expected to us. It's relatively a quiet August, except for these 3rd and 4th week of August. It's very different that said, very different than the energies of July. But Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018, 2019. We already know its energy. It's made for some very interesting Augusts, even going back all the way to 2017, I believe. Or 28, well, anyway. So this full moon might be very provocative for some signs, my Leos, my Aquariuses, my Scorpios, and also my Tauruses. But that said, we are going into the end of the month. We need to really figure out our future. We need to think about things on a much wider, larger, and collective level. We need to think about connection and community. And that's the thing, if we even reach into the past few years, with everything that was going on, there are the Aquarius can also on its flip side talk about isolation. Human beings by their nature, we can't be isolated. And so how do we build connection? How do we really see each other? How do we understand each other? It sounds, sometimes we think of Aquarius in terms of the 1960s musical Hair, and when the moon's in the 7th house and Mercury aligns with Mars in the age of Aquarius. But in order to have these greater ideals that Aquarius is known for, we need to understand that Aquarius has 2 sides, just like all signs have 2 sides. And the other side to Aquarius is, we don't feel like we belong. We don't feel like we have friends or connection or people who understand us. That's not to say that that's going to be the full moon for you, but we need to see both sides of things. And so we can use this energy, especially with even the Leo new moon that we had on August 4th, and that's already happened, to reinforce and to revitalize our sense and confidence in who we are, and just to be at peace with that. And just by its nature, or to take the active steps to build community, to build connection. I know it feels really awkward to meet new people and to be vulnerable and to trust and to build friendships. And maybe that's where Saturn in the 8th is really coming into this lunar month, and even the full moon in Aquarius. Aquarius and Saturn is in Pisces. These are the 2 last signs of the zodiac. It's not about the I, it's not about the individual, it's about the greater whole. It's about, again, the collective. So we've got big, broad brush strokes as we get into the 3rd and 4th week of August. I'm sure I'll come back to this and resurface it when I come back and do it live on the 26th of August. So let's go through each of the 12 zodiac signs, starting with Aries. So Aries, Mars is your planet, and it's in Gemini, and it's got a busy August happening. So on August 14th, Mars meets up with Jupiter, and then on August 16th, Mars squares Saturn. Let's break this down. So Aries, first you have Mars in Gemini. Gemini is something called your third sign. So it's a busy August for you, whether that's physically busy, you've got things to do, projects, places to go in your immediate environment, trips, travel, or it's just busy. We're at home. Maybe you've got lots of conversations that are going on. Maybe you are focusing on education, curiosity. Mars meeting up with Jupiter can illuminate, it can inspire, it can make your world even bigger. Maybe you have something to say. I will just say this because sometimes Aries can be very instinctual and reactive. Just be careful that you're not just shooting your mouth off, because sometimes Jupiter can really say something and not always think about how it's being received. On another level, maybe you've got something to teach, something to share. Like, what do I have to teach? But maybe there's something that you developed a speciality with. Or maybe it's just travel, or maybe you are making your world bigger in other ways. As that is happening, Mars is squaring Saturn. Saturn is in your 12th. We've been talking about this. This is a 2-3 year period that began in 2023, where you are coming to the end of a great chapter and cycle in your life. And so Saturn in Pisces, it's like you are in a liminal space. Things may be beginning and moving and new things happening, but the irony is that things are dissolving at the same time, because you are preparing for the next chapter that you will get a preview from May 24th, 2025 to September 1st of 2025. I know that's when Saturn goes into Aries, and then you're in Aries or Aries rising, and then it leaves, and then it comes back on February 14th of 2026. Use this time wisely, Aries. This is the time to really let go. You can use this energy to clean things out, like maybe just like you got the last 30 years sitting around you, or last 15 years sitting around you. You got to go through boxes, because the idea is that you don't want to bring things with you into 2025 and 2026, because if you do, it's there, it's in with you for the next cycle. This is also continues to be a very spiritual time for you, and so there's going to be a focus on both education, learning, travel, exploration, but also duties and commitments, and making things real at the same time as you let go. Oh, I would also say Aries, because we are preparing for the solar eclipse to come on October 2nd in your sign of Libra, which is relationships. Venus is opposite Saturn on the 19th of August. So it's to get very clear about your relationships, all relationships, your duties and responsibilities to other people, perhaps making a commitment. And for some people, maybe realizing that something's not going to work out. Taurus, Venus is your planet, and it's in Virgo, which is a kind of interesting place for Venus to be, because it's a Venus that has to really tend to other people. It's the Venus of service, and classically speaking, Venus isn't quite at home in Virgo, but it's just because Venus has to sometimes put other people first. That's all. And it's for you to see how the statement is true for you or not. Maybe you have a desire to help other people. Maybe you're more interested in health and wellness this August. For you, Virgo is something called your fifth sign. So Venus is also helping you to get back to the things that you love, the things that are a natural expression for your personality, the things that light you up and give you joy, even if it's helping other people. Even if it's tending to something or projects or making something beautiful, for example. Venus, now that it's in Virgo, makes an opposition to Saturn. Saturn's over in Pisces, and Pisces is your 11th sign. So this has been a year and a half into 2026, where community, society, and humanity is a big focal point for you. Maybe on a more day-to-day level, this is a time for you to really work on your friendships, to really feel like you have a social circle, a sense of community, a group that you are belonging to. But the other side of things is that Saturn can be a little brutal. Maybe that's a little bit of a stronger word when it's in the 11th, because it makes you very aware of who your friends are and who you're not. Saturn does not like flimsy friendships. It likes really strong community and friendship connections. So with the Venus opposite Saturn on the 19th of August, maybe you need to get very clear about who your friends are, who your friends are not, the friends that who are going to truly be there for you. And I'm, of course, on a mature reason. It's not like to treat somebody terribly, not this is you, and then be like, oh, like, of course, like, this person's not there for me. So it's just to put things into harmony and balance around your sense of self, your duties and responsibilities, but also your relationships and even your duties and responsibilities to your community, your social circle, and your friends. The Aquarius full moon that we are having on the 19th of August highlights your 10th sign. The 10th, and this is something that typically happens in August for you, it's the highest point in your personal astrology. It's like the most visible part of your astrology chart. And that says that this is in August, especially around the 3rd, 4th week of August, for you to get recognized, for you to be noticed, or to feel the push to take on a commitment or a responsibility in the world to make a change in your career, make a change in your job. So all eyes are on you as you go into the 19th of August. And with Saturn in the 11th, this is a full moon that's not just about your professional life, but really making sure your direction in life is in alignment with the greater whole, or a sense of duty and responsibility, or wanting to give back, or wanting to be of service. But that said, that Venus-Saturn opposition is not in August that maybe where you're just sort of laying around. This is a Venus opposite Saturn that's trying to get you to be very real and focused and to really take responsibility for something. Gemini is your planet, and Virgo, gosh, Mercury is your planet, and it's going back into Leo. So it's been in Virgo, which is your sign of home and family, not the 12th. And it goes back into Leo, which is your 3rd. So the rest of August, gosh, I'm going to have to go back and edit that out. The rest of August is going to be a busy time for you, whether that busyness is stuff that you need to do around your neighborhoods, your community, whether that's stuff that you need to do to get ready for school, or maybe you're taking trips, you're taking travels, but it's a busy time. Not Venus, Mercury will be bumping up against Uranus on the 18th of August. So that weekend, 17th, 18th, is probably going to be a little bit interesting. Maybe you are receiving news for you, or maybe something that's coming to light. But it really depends. Not everybody, of course, is going to experience that. All of this is right before the full moon on the 19th. That full moon lights up Aquarius, and for you, Aquarius is a fellow air sign. Aquarius is your 9th sign, so it really gets into these big philosophical themes, like, what do I believe in? What do I stand for? What's my direction in life? What do I have to share? Higher education, foreign travel, trips, exploration, curiosity. So it is an August to really expand your horizons. But that full moon is hitting on Uranus in something called your 12th. So there is some deeper existential themes that are in this full moon. I did forget to talk about, because I was too busy, don't worry, I'm going to cut it out. I was too busy talking about Virgo in your sign, but you have Mars in your sign right now, and you have Jupiter. And so Mars and Jupiter do meet up on the 14th of August, and then Mars squares Saturn on the 16th. Here's the thing, Gemini. The second you, number one, you're what's called a mutable sign. The mutable signs, they talk about the movement and flexibility, the communication, the learning, and the discovery of life. The second half of the year for the mutable signs is probably going to be different than the first half of the year, and you're going to have to get back to me and tell me how that is working out for you, Gemini. There is a lot being asked of you. Jupiter squares Saturn can speak to the need to get serious about career and your direction, your professional life, maybe to take on commitments and responsibilities. So even though there's a lot of movement and travel and perhaps trips in the second and third week of August, we can't forget that Saturn is looming large, because you are at a year and a half into a 3-year chapter of your life where you need to figure out, what do you want to be when you grow up? I know it's kind of a funny statement, but August is really laying that statement, for you to look at, especially as you get into September, because you will have that eclipse, lunar eclipse on September 17th that is illuminating your professional life. So there is a lot of things are starting to move in advance of that eclipse about your professional life, your direction, and making sure things are in alignment. That's the thing about Pisces energy, especially some of the things that are happening in the sky, is that you need to make sure that you are making the choices that are in alignment with your heart and your spirit. That said, with the energy of Saturn very present in your astrology of this the next 2 weeks, it's not a cut corners week. It's to really follow the rules, follow the book, do things the right way, to show up, to be responsible, and really show Saturn that you can handle life. And if you can't, that's okay. Take the steps that you need to do, put things in order, clean things out, create projects, and that will, Saturn will always make Saturn happy. Cancer. So the moon is your planet. And so the moon, I'm sorry, I'm pre-recording this, so I can't remember what the moon's going to be, but we will have an Aquarius full moon on August 19th, because I'm doing this for the next 2 weeks. But let's go back to the third week of August, because we have some big movements in the sky. We've got 2 planets in Gemini at the moment, and Gemini is Cancer's 12th sign. Jupiter and Mars are there, and they come together on the 14th of August. But more importantly, it's to understand that this is a time, especially August, especially the third and fourth weeks of August, that's really getting on deeper existential themes. Why am I here? What am I doing? Where am I going? What do I believe in? What is the meaning of life? And these existential questions, you are the only person that can answer them. Of course, you can read books, you can consult friends, you can look towards different philosophies, but ultimately it's to arrive to that answer for yourself. Mars is a career planet for you, so it's hanging out in a place that says it's time to make a shift in your professional life. It's time to let something go. Sometimes we do things out of ambition, but is it truly in alignment with our heart and our soul and our spirit? Maybe uses August to meditate and to reflect. This Mars-Jupiter conjunction that is on August 14th, it is really playing off the fact that Saturn has been in your 9th for the last year and a half. And this is a 3-year story in total, where Saturn in your 9th is saying, what do you believe in? What do you stand for? What do you think is true? And that's the thing about the 9th and even the 12th, where we have a lot of activity for Cancer right now. These are not analytical, tangible places. These are deeply philosophical and even spiritual places in the astrology. When something is philosophical and spiritual, it does not going to add up on paper. You're not going to necessarily see it on the physical, in your physical life. You're going to feel it inside of you. It could be a discomfort about the direction that things are going in your life. Maybe you are searching for something, trying to get, it's like you keep searching for something. You keep trying something thinking it's going to like be the thing that feeds you deeply emotionally and spiritually, but maybe it's not. So this is a week where you need to, or the next 2 weeks, where you need to honor your commitments, maybe make some changes in either your professional life, your relationship with duties and responsibilities, or the direction that you're taking your life in. There will be an Aquarius full moon on August 19th. This Aquarius full moon hits on deep emotions, these deep emotions that are really underneath the surface of a lot of these deeper philosophical questions, or these bigger philosophical questions. Really be present with what's coming up. This full moon is digging into some deeper material about what's my future? Who are my friends? Who do I trust? So it is a little bit of an emotional time for Cancer rising, but all of this, I think, is really preparing you to make some more concrete decisions about your life and the direction of your life and the people that you want in your life as you go into the rest of August and even as you go into September. Leo, happy birthday, Leo. We're starting to get to the end of your season, and if you are a late Leo, meaning you're born August 12th all the way to August 20th or 21st, lots of stuff going on in the sky at the moment. You do have your natal sun making a square to Uranus at the moment, so there's a lot of pressure on these later in the sign Leos for there to be some sort of change and transformation in their life. And if you are an earlier Leo, you're born at the beginning of the sign, you would have felt this more 2018, 2019, and 2020. For example, it's kind of like people, the earlier in the sign gets the transit earlier, and then other later in the signs experience a transit. It could be years later. Anyway. So what's going on for Leo? Well, we have a lot of things happening in Gemini. This is the 3rd and 4th week of August, so the 12th all the way to the 25th of August. Gemini is Leo's 11th sign, and there's a big focus on friends and community and vision for the future, and really feeling this push to make something happen. With the energies of Saturn in the 8th, there is this need to create real emotional connection with a friends plural community, and to really feel that you are in some sort of deeper alliance, to know exactly who your people are. Who do I trust? Who do I not trust? Who am I building my life and building my future with, and who am I not? We will have Mars square Saturn. Mars for you is an emotional planet. It talks about home and family in the past. It could be a time to really open up towards a new future. You also have Jupiter there as well, so it's really trying to expand your horizons and again open up your vision, especially if your vision has been a bit closed. I do have my eye on the Aquarius full moon that is on August 19th. That Aquarius full moon, Aquarius is number 1, a relationship sign. So every time, typically it could be the end of July or sometime in August, you will have a full moon in your relationship sign. So other people are being highlighted the 2nd and 3rd week, or 3rd and 4th week of August, around that Aquarius full moon on August 19th. Look at your connections, look at your relationships. Relationships come in a lot of different forms. It's not just the people that you're in a romantic relationship, or even if you're single. Aquarius talks about how do you interact and socialize and open up to other people. This full moon makes a square to Uranus. Uranus has been really shaking up your public life, your career, your sense of duty and responsibility in the world, your direction since 2018, 2019. This full moon makes an exact square to Uranus, why it's a little bit of a spicy full moon. it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because it's really going to be different from person to person. If you're the type of Leo that was really craving change, I got a full moon for you. If you are a Leo that really wants to bring in new relationship and connection, I got a full moon for you. If you are a Leo that wants to shake up the status quo in your existing relationships, I got a full moon for you. This could be also a full moon that plays upon your career, especially, or your responsibilities and duties. Venus will be opposite Saturn. It's got a little bit of an oomph to it, so it might mean that this is in August where there is some sort of personal event or something that's going on that really marks the year for you. I know it's your birthday. To keep in mind, this is sort of a larger comment. We've been talking about this over the past few months, but Pluto is in Aquarius. It will leave on September 1st, but by and large it's there for the next 20 years. So it is already a time when relationships have to completely transform. Meaning, if you are typically timid and shy, or you don't trust people, or you're very closed off, these are just examples. Pluto's like, what's going on? Let's tear all this down. So whatever is happening, even though Pluto's at the other end of the sign, we can't forget that these two things are related, even though they're like at two opposite ends of the room, so to speak. And so this full moon, in a way, is picking up on these larger themes and transformations about your life. It's like, sometimes we get to these points in our life where we realize something has to change. We just don't know what it is. And sometimes we even have events in our life that really put things, dead center into focus. And we realize what's a priority and not a priority. And this could be a full moon that does that. Virgo. So Mercury is your planet. And the funny thing, Virgo, is that I was doing the Gemini update, and I sort of just started doing a Virgo update, but I'm gonna have to do it for you. So anyway, don't worry, I'm gonna have to cut that out of the Gemini update. But for you, Virgo, Mercury is your planet, and Mercury, as you remember, Mercury turned retrograde on August 5th. And Mercury has been in Virgo. That's you. That's your sign, your rising sign, your sun sign. But Mercury does go back into Leo on August 14th. And so this is that, kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out energy that we were talking about in my update for the week of August 5th through 11th. And so you might feel that on one hand, the beginning of August, the end of July, things were really starting to go this way. But Mercury going back into Leo says, because Mercury will be in Leo into the beginning of September, and Mercury will be retrograde until August 28th. So it says that this is an August where you need to retreat, whether that's literal, you're going on a retreat, or you're spending more time alone, or you just need to make sure you are giving yourself some quiet alone time. Because it's in the 12th, which is Leo. Leo is your 12th sign, where we need to recharge our emotional and even our spiritual batteries. So for some Virgos, it is a very spiritual time. You are asking yourself bigger existential questions. Remember, existential questions only you can answer. And they are often, the answers are found in those very quiet and sometimes even unexpected moments. Give yourself that time. Do not rush, do not push, because you've got a lot of interesting astrology going into your birthday season and beyond. Remember, Virgo, and I've been saying this for the mutable signs, and your mutable sign, Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Virgo, the mutable signs, is that the second half of 2024 was going to likely be very different than the first half of 2024. And with the things that are happening, maybe you need to rest, or maybe you need to listen to your intuition, because that's also the 12th. It's where we sort of have a dream, we have a vision of something, we hear something in a very quiet moment, we're waking up and we suddenly realize something. That's the energy of the 12th. You've got some big deal movements happening. You've got Mars and Jupiter meeting up in Gemini. Gemini is a career sign for you. And then Mars and Jupiter squaring Saturn. The Mars-Saturn square is on August 16th. The Jupiter-Saturn square is on August 19th. Saturn is in your relationship sign. So there is something, and it's going to be different, of course, for every Virgo, where it could be about a serious relationship in your life. It could be a relationship coming in or needing to make a commitment. Maybe you're thinking about getting married. Maybe you're thinking about ending a relationship. You're really thinking about your future with other people, and whether that's going to work or not going to work. Maybe it's forging alliances and building connection, and with the energies of Mars and Jupiter in your professional life, your public life, your professional life wants to grow and expand at this time. But as things grow and expand, you still need to take things seriously. A lot is being asked of you at this time. You're a Virgo. I know you can handle it, but you do have Saturn opposite you. And when we have Saturn opposite us, we cannot cut corners. We need to take things seriously. We need to follow through. And sometimes we feel a little bit of the weight of the world on our shoulders. That said, we will have that Aquarius full moon on August 19th. That Aquarius full moon highlights health and wellness for some Virgos. It could be a time to really take your health and wellness seriously, or maybe it's about getting your appointments, checkups or whatever, or maybe it's just sort of health and wellness on a larger level. For some, it's about your duties and responsibilities to other people. Virgo typically gives a lot of itself to other people. It thinks of other people first. And of course, not all Virgos, but this full moon does highlight a little bit this connection of self-sacrifice, where you put other people first. Sometimes we do that. We want to help a parent out. We want to do the best for our children. Whatever, of course, is relevant to your life. But to see where that sense of helping other people and being of service, and even sometimes the unequal dynamics that can exist in relationships, that might be really highlighted with this full moon. Libra, Venus is your planet, and you've got some big Saturn energies this week, the week of the 12th to the 18th, and even the 19th to the 25th of August, because I'm doing a two-week thing. So Venus right now is in Virgo, and for you, Libra, Virgo is your 12th sign. So every time, and it's different, it's different each year, but the 12th sign represents a space of retreat. We've come to the end of our personal zodiac, our personal calendar year, and we need to reflect. We need to rest. We need to recharge. We need to refill our cup, so to speak. So it's a little bit, I don't want to say a quiet August, but an August where you need to kind of give yourself some space, some psychic space, and some emotional and spiritual space as well. Saturn is in your 6th. It has been there for a year and a half. It'll be there by and large into the beginning of 2026. There is something about not just your spiritual health and wellness, but your physical health and wellness that's being very activated at this time. Saturn, perils of living, where there's people doing lawn work, but oh well, maybe that's telling you about getting the weed whacker out in life. But anyway, Libra, you got a lot of things going on in September and October, and so this is a time to really rest and recharge your batteries and to put things in order. It means cleaning things out, making sure the systems of your life are running, because there will be a focus on new beginnings as you go into October, because we got that October 2nd new moon, solar eclipse. The Venus opposite Saturn this week, I think I mentioned it's on the 18th, no, it's on the 19th of August. Venus opposite Saturn is a time when you need to take things seriously, and so maybe this is a week and into this the fourth week of August where you're really feeling like a lot's being asked of you, or the way of the world is sort of on you. Saturn energy makes you feel time and commitment and the reality of life, and so this is not a time to be in any sort of illusions. It's to really put things into, again, reality. For you, Libra, the Aquarius full moon. Aquarius is a fellow air sign. It does pick up on something called your 5th sign, and so this is a full moon to really put into the spotlight your gifts, your talents, your abilities, what makes you you. For some Libras, this is about children or creativity, because creativity is where we take the best of ourselves, the spark within, and we put it into something, including children and pregnancy. Children pregnancy obviously is not going to be relevant for every Libra, but it is a reminder that we need to create, we need to take the best of ourselves and put it into everything that's around us. But there is something, again, that very serious element in the astrology of this time. You do have Jupiter and Saturn in your ninth, so it is getting into very philosophical, bigger questions about life, and maybe you're doing a lot of soul searching and thinking about how you need to make your day-to-day life change to match whatever realizations you are making within. Scorpio, Mars is your planet. So Mars continues to be in Gemini, and Mars is actually joined by Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet that makes our world bigger. It's just kind of ironic. Well, let me go back to that statement. What do I mean by making our world bigger? Making our world bigger means either getting on a plane and seeing the world, or making our world bigger means just being curious and learning more and searching for answers in life, trying to come to these sort of deeper conclusions and the sense of discovery and investigation, especially in something called your eighth. Making your world bigger could be emotional. You need to open your heart, you need to be vulnerable, you need to let people in. Mars is there, so Mars is really hitting on some deeper emotional stuff. Who do I trust? Who do I open up to? It could be something about money and finance, spending, debt, taxes, but also wealth. It depends on the Scorpio. All of this is happening square Saturn. Saturn is in your fifth sign, so this continues to be the last year and a half and into the beginning of 2026, where you need to take yourself and take your talent seriously. For you to take yourself seriously, it means you need to face the part of yourself that you do not take seriously, or you sort of go against yourself. So it could be a little bit of an emotional time where you need to face yourself and sometimes face the parts of yourself that are not always for your greater good, but that all helps you to reinforce what is for your greater good and what is a positive expression of who you are. The Aquarius full moon on August 19th is a little spicy. It is putting a spotlight on home and family and your living situation on a surface level. This could be a full moon where you make a decision about where you're living. Maybe you're making a move, maybe family or an older parent, or parents plural, needs your attention. This full moon is playing off of Uranus and your Taurus, which is your relationship sign. There has been, on some level, every Scorpio is different, changes in relationship, whether that means that people have come into your life that have been very different than the usual standard pre-2018, 2019, or need to completely overhaul and transform relationships. This full moon can talk about family, but it can also talk about emotional vulnerability, also picking up with Mars and your eighth. And if somebody truly is to come into your life, how do you actually make space for other people? It could be a full moon that is putting into the spotlight the fact that Scorpio, by and large, is in a shift of eras. I know that's a bigger statement and a bigger conversation for another time, but don't forget that Pluto is now in Aquarius, and it's like shifting the tectonic plates of your life into a new direction, a new formation, and this full moon might put that reality front and center. Sagittarius, Jupiter is your planet. And so something that I've been saying off and on throughout this year is that the second half of 2024 will be very different than the first half of 2024. So this is our check-in. How is that statement holding up for you? Are you like, nope, Katie, it is the status quo. It is same old. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But you have to understand two things. You've got big movements in relationship. You've got Jupiter is in your relationship sign. Jupiter rules you for the second half of 2024 all the way into May of 2025. Jupiter is squaring Saturn this 3rd and 4th week of August. It makes a square on the 19th of August. We have Mars square Saturn on the 16th of August. Mercury squares Mercury. What else is Mercury? I feel like Mercury's doing something. Mercury's back in Mercury is square Uranus. What I'm trying to say is that you're in a phase of life where it's a little bit capital L life. Capital L life is where we have duties and responsibilities in our life. We are getting into relationships. We are making moves. We are making changes in our professional life. We are making changes in our direction. And Saturn energy, you do have Saturn in the home environment, meaning home and family, roots and foundation, continue to be a major focus into 2026. So this is a time where family is a priority, emotional connection, family, even as a broader subject, not just blood family, is a major focal point. So how do you create connection? How do you create relationship? How do you build partnership? I mean, Saturn builds for the future. Saturn builds not just for next year, Saturn builds for the next 30 years. So really to have the people and the situations and the foundation in your life that's actually going to support you over the coming years and even the next 2 decades. I know that's a big statement, but when you die, God forbid, I'm being a Scorpio for the moment, but when you die, when your life flashes before you, it's the major moments. It's not the really trivial things. And so what 2024 is trying to do to you is to remind you that life isn't about the trivialities of life. Life is about the people and the places and the situations that really truly support, nourish, and hold up our life. And so to use this time to really, again, build relationship and connection. You'll have to get back to me, just let me know how this is showing up for you in your life. It is Mercury retrograde. That doesn't mean that life comes to a halt, but Mercury is a major play in your astrology, so there is something from the past that you are walking back on. You are reviewing, reevaluating, so you can gain a new perspective. Aquarius full moon, the Aquarius for you. Sagittarius is something called your 3rd sign. So this is a full moon that's about travel, trips, explorations, travel. It could be about community. It could be about voice. It could even be about making major choices, especially with the choices around your home and living environment, family, a move, a parent, children, and about the things that are really going to lock you in or anchor you into the second half of the year. Typically, Sagittarius is not a locked in or anchored sign. It's ruled by Jupiter. It's always looking for bigger shores, bigger perspectives, adventure. But you're just in a time, Sagittarius, where you can't forget about the things that that we come home to, and then the things that are actually going to support those bigger adventures to come in the coming years. Capricorn. So Saturn is your planet, continues to be in Pisces into 2026. But that said, the major focal point of this month for you, well, number one, it's Leo season. And for you, Capricorn, Leo is your 8th sign. Leo season means that you are in the part of your personal astrology where you need to face yourself. You need to do the work. You need to look within. You need to get into themes about trust, power, control, and the psyche. And so this is a time for you to get into the emotional material. Sorry, they are doing yard work outside. I'm so sorry, Capricorn. They are doing all this deeper emotional material and work. But get my thought back. But anyway, Leo season, and then we do have some things happening in Gemini. Gemini is both a health and wellness sign for you, so it could be a time when you need to really take your health, take your wellness, take care of your body, take care of your day-to-day life. It could also mean projects and cleaning things out, cleaning things up. It could also mean systems, the systems of your life and how things work in your life. Sorry, just listening for my dad. But anyway, so a lot of things happening in the get things done and get things cleaned out part of the life, with the energy of Saturn very present. Hey, Saturn rules you this August. You need to make some big choices. Capricorn is about commitment. It's just one of the umbrella archetypes for the sign. And so that's being asked of you this August. What are you committed to? What are your duties and responsibilities? How do you either reorganize your day-to-day life or really commit to something that's really a ritual practice, that's something that's really reshaping your day-to-day life? Or for some, it's to make a commitment to your health and your wellness. And for some Capricorns, it is a project, it is work, it is a busy time in general. That said, we do have an Aquarius full moon, and for you, Capricorn Aquarius is a money sign. Keep in mind, this is a larger conversation, but you do have Pluto in a money sign. Pluto will be there for 20 years. I know, such a huge amount of time. So you are in a much larger period of your life where you are reevaluating what's of value. Sometimes we're socially conditioned to think, oh, I need this, like I'm supposed to do this. But that's part of the bigger changes that are happening, although at the very beginning of a story, that maybe what you think you value now is not what you're going to value over the coming years. That said, a Aquarius full moon does put money, income, material life, spending, resources, assets, property in the spotlight. And maybe you're making a purchase, maybe you are buying property, maybe you're buying a home, or maybe you're looking at debt, maybe you're looking at spending, but there's something about needing to make some choices about your money, how you're spending it, or even value and worth or self-worth into the rest of the month. Pisces, finally Pisces. So Pisces, Jupiter is your planet, and Jupiter is over in, there's like yard work going out there, so it's like taking my brain away. But Jupiter is in Gemini, and so one of the things that I've been saying over the past year is that throughout 2024 is that the second half of the year is going to be very different for you, because the second half of the year is much more through the lens of Saturn. And Saturn is a planet that really helps us to look at our lives on a larger framework level. I know this is a little bit of a funny thing to say, but hear me out, I'm a Scorpio. When you die and your life flashes before you, it means that you're remembering the things that actually left an imprint. It's typically the bigger things of life. It's not the trivialities of life. So Saturn in the second half of 2024 for you is saying that life is about the real things, the serious things. Our relationships, our partnerships, our commitments, our direction, our goals, our responsibilities, the framework and the structure that holds up our life. With Jupiter, your planet, and Mars and Jupiter make a conjunction on August 14th. There's something about your living situation, your home environment that's being really activated and highlighted at this time, playing off of the energies of Saturn. Maybe you're really thinking about settling down, making a move, making a change, especially with Jupiter making that square to Saturn on August 19th. Saturn energy says that you can't cut corners right now. You need to be the adult, the parent, the person that shows up, the person that follows through, the person that honors their commitments. And that's really big for this time in your personal astrology in August. We do have an Aquarius full moon, and for you, Pisces, Aquarius is something called your 12th sign. So this full moon is putting the spotlight on, did I just jump over Aquarius? Yeah, don't worry, I'll go back. This full moon is putting the spotlight on your 12th. The 12th is about the endings of your personal astrology chart. That full moon says that something has reached its end. Something has reached its conclusion. I know that's maybe not the thing that you want to hear, but that's just a part of life. This full moon, as something reaches its conclusion, ironically, because the energy of the full moon goes into Pisces is your sign, that the full moon also says that it's time to really start something. As something leaves, you need to take the responsibility to begin something, to take the leadership role, to take the duty and responsibility. This full moon does play off the energies of Uranus, so it's a little bit of a shaky, spicy full moon. It's mostly showing up on an internal level, but it's also saying that as you really face some existential realities, you need to be the person that takes the lead and makes the choices and makes the decision, and even makes the decision about your future. Aquarius, sorry, all the yard work going on outside that I went from Capricorn to Aquarius, but that's Capricorn to Pisces, but that's the good thing about recording this, is that just giving myself more work. I have to go back and cut these together. So anyway, Aquarius, so Saturn is your planet, and Saturn is in Pisces. So Pisces continues to be a time for you where money, income, material stability, and security, really showing up your resources, showing up your material life, continues to be a major priority, and will be a major priority into the beginning of 2026. We have a full moon in Aquarius on August 19th, and that full moon puts the spotlight on you. So it is a little bit of a spicy full moon. It is playing off the energies of Uranus in something called your fourth sign, home and family. There have been changes in your living situation, changes in the home and environment. Perhaps you've made a major move over the past few years. Maybe somebody has major changes in the household over the past few years. I wanted to say that because even though that's in the past, that theme, that energy is being activated again in the third to fourth week of August, around August 19th and that full moon. With something changing, whether it's literally about the household or you're making a move or it's internal, it's bringing up a lot of emotions. It's really provocative. It's pushing you to take action, and take action in order to really invest in and to anchor into the things that are actually going to create stability and security for you. And maybe that's if you're really buying property or something, it's really reflective of a very new stage in your life. That said, Aquarius, there's a lot of big movements in Gemini. Gemini is something called your fifth sign. So creativity, self-expression, identity. You got Jupiter there, you got Mars there. And so with the energies of Saturn playing off of Mars and Jupiter, the third or fourth week of August, it's a time to really take yourself and take your talent seriously, to have not just the confidence in who you are, but really to anchor it and make it real, and to know your self-worth and value. That said, what if this is a time when you want to make a change? I know I've been saying that a lot for Aquarius, but with this full moon is really provocative to make a bigger and lasting change, and something that will break you free from the past. So this has been your pre-recorded look at both the weeks of August 12th through 18th and 19th through 25th, because I'm going to be away, and we got to be serenaded by lovely weed whackers and lawnmowers. Of course, I'm doing this in the middle of the day, so I need to, go and get on a plane. But anyway, I will see you all live on August 26th. Thank you all for your patience while I'm away. And I look forward to just sort of recapping some of the things that we went through and, getting ready for September.